What if time isn't what you think it is? What if every moment you've ever lived and will ever live is happening right now? What if the past, present, and future are all happening at the same exact moment? What if that strange feeling of familiarity isn't a glitch in your brain, but a glimpse into the true nature of reality? Rumi called this the eternal now. And once you understand it, nothing will ever feel the same. Do you know the experience? You walk into a place you've never been before, but every detail feels hauntingly familiar. You have a conversation with someone you've just met, but you know exactly what they're going to say next. You live through a moment that feels like you've experienced it 1,000 times before. Most people call this déjà vu and assume it's just neurons misfiring. But 8 centuries ago, the greatest Sufi mystic who ever lived understood something profound about these moments. Rumi saw them not as psychological anomalies, but as cracks in the illusion of linear time, through which you glimpse the eternal nature of existence itself. In one of his most profound insights, Rumi wrote, open quote, 100,000 years and a single hour are one. The beginning of eternity and the end of eternity arch into union. Close quote. This wasn't poetry for poetry's sake. This was Rumi describing the actual structure of reality as experienced by someone who had transcended the normal boundaries of temporal perception. And modern consciousness research is only now beginning to catch up with what Rumi knew through direct experience. When neuroscientists study people in deep meditative states, they find that the brain regions responsible for temporal processing become quiet. The sense of past, present, and future begins to dissolve. What emerges is what researchers call the eternal present, a state of consciousness where all moments exist simultaneously. But Rumi went further than just describing this state. He explained why we normally can't access it and what it reveals about the nature of existence itself. According to Rumi, our ordinary experience of time as a straight line from past to future is an illusion created by the limitations of human perception. Reality itself exists in what he called the eternal now, where every moment that has ever been or ever will be is happening right here, right now, in God. This is why you sometimes feel like you've lived a moment before. You have, not in some previous life or parallel universe, but in the timeless dimension of reality that exists beyond the constraints of linear time. Those moments of strange familiarity are windows into the eternal present, where your true self actually dwells. Rumi described this in another of his profound insights. Open quote, our death is our wedding with eternity. Close quote. He wasn't talking about some future event that happens when your body stops functioning. He was describing the ongoing process of awakening to the eternal dimension of your being that exists right now, in this moment, beyond the stream of temporal experience. Think about your deepest memories, the moments that feel most real to you, most significant, most alive. Notice how, when you really remember them, they don't feel like past events. They feel present. They feel immediate. They feel like they're happening now. This isn't your mind playing tricks on you. This is your consciousness touching the eternal dimension where these moments still exist, where they've always existed, where they will always exist. Rumi taught that this eternal present isn't something you need to achieve or attain. It's something you need to recognize. It's where you already are. The sense of moving through time from moment to moment is like being in a car and thinking the landscape is moving while you remain still. From a higher perspective, you can see that you're the one in motion while the landscape remains constant. Similarly, from the perspective of eternal consciousness, you can see that moments don't come and go. You move through an eternal landscape of present moments. This understanding completely transforms your relationship with memory and anticipation. Instead of seeing the past as gone and the future as not yet real, you begin to recognize them as different regions of an eternal present that you can access right now. This is why certain places, certain people, certain experiences can feel so familiar. Even when you encounter them for the first time, your eternal self recognizes them. because it has always known them in the timeless dimension of reality. Academic research on mystical experiences consistently finds that people who have transcendent experiences report a dissolution of temporal boundaries. Time doesn't speed up or slow down. It reveals itself as fundamentally different from what we normally assume it to be. Studies published in journals of consciousness research document how contemplatives across cultures and centuries have reported the same insight that Rumi expressed. Time as we normally experience it is a construction of limited awareness. Reality itself exists in an eternal present. But understanding this intellectually is different from experiencing it directly. Rumi provided practical guidance for accessing the eternal now that modern mindfulness research has validated. The key is presence, not thinking about being present, but actually being present. When your attention is completely absorbed in the immediate reality of this moment, without reference to past or future, without the narrative commentary that usually runs through your mind, something remarkable happens. The boundaries between moments begin to dissolve. You stop experiencing yourself as moving through time and start experiencing time as moving through you. This isn't a mystical abstraction. This is a tangible shift in consciousness that you can cultivate through practice. When you're fully present, past and future exist only as mental constructs. Reality is revealed as an eternal now that has no beginning and no end. Rumi wrote, open quote, "Like the tip of a spear passing through a shield, I pierced through night and day. Looking from the other side, it's clear all religions are one." Close quote. He was describing the experience of penetrating through the illusion of temporal succession to the eternal reality that underlies it. From that perspective, not only do all religions reveal themselves as different expressions of the same truth, but all moments reveal themselves as different expressions of the same eternal now. This has profound implications for how you understand your life. The person you were as a child isn't gone. The experiences you've had aren't over. The love you felt isn't in the past. They're all present right now, in the eternal dimension of your being. Similarly, the person you're becoming isn't in the future. The potential you're moving toward isn't waiting somewhere else in time. It's present right now, accessible right now, real right now. When you have moments of deep recognition, moments when life feels sacred and meaningful and familiar, you're touching this eternal dimension. You're experiencing yourself as you actually are, not a temporary physical form moving through time, but an eternal consciousness in which all moments arise and pass away like waves on an ocean. Rumi's insight into the nature of time also explains why spiritual practices often involve transcending normal consciousness. When you meditate, when you pray, when you lose yourself in music or art or love, you're not escaping from reality. You're entering more deeply into it. You're accessing the eternal present that is always available beneath the surface of temporal experience. This is why Rumi could say with such certainty, open quote, "Reason is at a loss, figuring out how to venture over to the other side." Close quote. The eternal present can't be reached through thinking because thinking operates within the framework of linear time. Past thoughts, present thoughts, future thoughts. The eternal now is accessed through being, through presence, through the direct recognition of what is always already here. Modern psychology has identified what researchers call temporal landmarks, moments that feel different from ordinary time. Wedding days, graduations, births, deaths, moments of great beauty or profound realization. These moments feel eternal while they're happening. They seem to exist outside the normal flow of time. According to Rumi's understanding, these moments don't just feel eternal, they are eternal. They're glimpses of the eternal present, the true nature of all moments. When you understand this, your entire relationship with existence changes. You stop trying to hold on to good moments because you recognize they're not going anywhere. You stop running from difficult moments because you understand they're not permanent fixtures of an eternal present. You begin to see that what you call your life is not a story unfolding in time, but a pattern of awareness, exploring different regions of an eternal reality. The strange feeling of having done something before becomes a reminder of your true nature. It's your eternal self recognizing itself in the timeless dimension where it actually dwells. The feeling isn't coming from your brain creating false memories. It's coming from your consciousness touching the eternal present where all experiences exist simultaneously. Rumi taught that this recognition is not the end of the spiritual path, but the beginning. Once you glimpse the eternal present, once you taste the timeless dimension of your being, everything else becomes a deepening of that recognition. You don't graduate from temporal existence into eternal existence. You discover that you've always been eternal consciousness, temporarily forgetting itself in the play of linear time. This is why Rumi could write with such joy about death, a wedding with eternity. He wasn't talking about some future event. He was describing the ongoing awakening to what you actually are, right now. Every moment offers the opportunity to die to the illusion of being a temporary self and awaken to the reality of being eternal consciousness. The next time you have that strange feeling of recognition, that sense that you've been somewhere before or done something before, don't dismiss it as a neurological quirk. Recognize it as what it actually is. Your eternal self touching the timeless dimension where all moments exist right now. You're not remembering something from the past, you're recognizing something from the eternal present. And once you know that all moments exist now, that eternity is not a long time, but no time, that the eternal present is not somewhere else, but right here, you'll never experience time the same way again.